Hi, it's Wendy Hernandez, attorney and creator of Command the Courtroom. In today's video, I want to talk with you about what will happen in your case if you simply choose to do nothing. Well, the short answer is this. If you don't do anything in your case, it's not going to be pretty. There's probably a couple of things that could happen if you just don't do anything in your case. And the first thing that could happen is if somebody has filed a petition against you and they're asking for a certain result and you haven't responded to that petition, you haven't made an appearance in the case, you're not responding to discovery requests, you're not showing up for hearings, the likely result is that the judge is going to enter a judgment against you. And in some states, in many states, this is called a default judgment, meaning you're defaulting and the other party is getting what they want by default. So in a case where you're not doing anything that you should be doing, the other party is probably going to get everything that he or she wants. Now, I haven't had this happen often in very many of my cases over the years, but there have been a couple where the other party simply does nothing. So what ends up transpiring is me and my client go to a hearing and the judge takes testimony. My client makes the requests about whatever he or she is asking for, and the judge grants those requests. So option number one, in terms of what will happen if you do nothing, not good. The second thing that could happen if you do nothing in your case is you could potentially be found in contempt of court. If there are court orders in place where the judge is telling you that you need to do X, Y, and Z, and you ignore those orders, the judge is going to look at it as though you're thumbing your nose up at the court, and the judge could sanction you. And depending on whatever it is that you're not doing that you should be doing, the judge could order you to pay a financial penalty. The judge could order you to be put into jail. The court could take away time between you and your kids. There's a lot of things that the judge could do. So the shorter answer is if you do nothing in your case, it will not be good. And I wanted to cover this topic because a couple of weeks ago, I met with a client in my office, and she had a case filed against her months ago. And the case was the other parent who was seeking to modify the existing custody arrangement and parenting time arrangement. And although the parties had never been to court before, they had been making decisions about their child together. And in fact, the child was spending half the time with the potential client, with the mother. But in the petition that her ex filed, he was asking for full decision making, and he was asking that the child spend all of the time except for every other weekend with him. Well, because this potential client hadn't responded, she was on the verge of getting a default judgment entered against her, and that is something that was clearly not in the interests of the child. So I scrambled and tried to help her do damage control, and we have yet to find out whether we've done that. But I just hate to see anybody in that position, especially when they're actively involved in their child's life, especially when their child loves them, and especially when their child needs them, and especially when it's in the best interest of the child or children for both parents to be involved. I know this process is scary. I know a lot of people just kind of want to bury their head in the sand and not think about it because it stresses them out too much. Please don't do that. I'm begging you. Don't do nothing in your case. And it's a good thing that you're here because to me, that means that you're doing something. You're gaining knowledge and you're gaining understanding. So to keep up to date with the videos that I release every week, be sure to subscribe to the Command the Courtroom YouTube channel. Go over to commandthecourtroom.com where there's a new website up and I'm adding things. I'm still tweaking it, but I'm adding some goodies and maybe some of those will help you. Remember to like us on Facebook. Keep on trucking, and until next week, remember to command the courtroom.